What's up, everybody? This is Peter Eps.7, and welcome to another episode of the Purple Manifesto. And it's, the subtitle is Prince's Life, Music, and Philosophy. So yeah, let's talk about our boy. Today we're doing his third album, Dirty Mind. I haven't done a Prince album in a hot minute, so it's about that time. Yeah, this was his first, when he starts getting critical acclaim and he starts carving out his own niche, so to speak. So, this drops in October 8th, 1980. And I believe it's almost 44 years of what is today when I'm doing this. Don't know, well, I'll release this in a couple days, but today's Friday, August 18th, so it's 44 years and 10 days. The Purple, let's see, the Peach and Black podcast. These are some Prince fans out of Australia. It's probably the other huge podcast out there. I've dibbled and dabbled in that. I do more of the Prince podcast with Michael Dean. But they said, they've called this Prince's punk album. And I'm not going to argue with that. It is in a way, and when we dive into music, because, it's a very rebellious album, so it fits that way. But it fits kind of sonically, too. The sound of this album is, I would call retro and mixed with new wave. Prince, there's a tinge of rockabilly here and that early 50s rock, a lot of it. And that's where the punk vein of classic rock and now rock comes out of. This is Think the Who, this is partly the Beatles, and then the Stones come out of the blues, and then later, Black Sabbath, introduces classical music to classic rock, and that's big, obviously, in new metal. So that's where we're at. So this is Prince dubbed himself the Rude Boy with this album. That's his sort of persona. It sort of comes out in the cover of the album where, Prince is wearing his black bikini briefs and has on a trench coat. Well, we know, in concert for this tour, he also added the leg warmers. And this is when he opens up for Rick James, and also when he opens up for the Rolling Stones. So there's that huge rivalry with Prince and, Rick James. Comes out of this album, and then, of course, the famous where, let's just say that the Rolling Stones fans of 1980 didn't really appreciate Prince very much. So let's jump right in. I mean, Dirty Mind kicks the album off, sets the tone. Prince starts, sexy and dirty, only gets sexier and dirty as you get deeper in the album. It's a little new wave feeling. It's to me, it's the Cars meet R&B. Des Dickerson, he's a little older than Prince, and at this time is mentoring a little, and he introduced Prince to the Cars, and so in these next three albums, Prince is melding. When I'm talking about Dirty Mind Controversy 1999, Prince is melding, the new wave and funk. But, the Cars meld rock and new wave very well in the late 70s and early 80s, and they're very good songwriters. You can argue that of the pop rock of this era, they were the best at it. If there was a Beatles, with great songwriting in this era, was the Cars, and Prince was very much into the Cars at the time, according to Des, and it fits, and there's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, Dirty Mind, we're starting off that Cars feel. Song 2, When You Were Mine. This is definitely 1950s rock. Little laid back Elvis kind of going here. This is about an ex. When your ex is with another man, but you still love her. Prince has admitted this was influenced by the Beatles. So yeah, this is definitely some people. I guess there's some distinctions, in the with the Beatles fans. This would be the Mop Top era. This is before Revolver. And so, so what? To help soundtrack back. Yeah, this the sounds the Beatles had before, getting experimental. So yeah, it's there. As I said, it reminds me of early Elvis, but I could definitely, and jump ahead a couple albums, but Delirious. Now that's Elvis right there too, big time. But it is a mixture here of the Beatles and Elvis with When You Were Mine. Of course, Cyndi Lauper recorded this. Prince played this a lot, live, and yeah, this has one of the songs with a lot of appeal. Song 3, Do It All Night. This is 1950s pop. It's sexy, flirty pop. Prince, yeah, I mean, he actually did this on the tour, and if you go and dig around, on YouTube, Prince Dirty Mind tour, you can hear versions of. I think he actually opened up a couple concerts with "Do It All Night." So, yeah, I like the song. It's a nice little pop song and whatnot. Song 4, Got a Broken Heart Again. Now, the only time, Prince did this when he did his thing in Vegas in the early 2000s at the Aladdin. This is sort of the lone ballad. It's a little mid-tempo on the album. It has that early 60s, 70s feel to it. So this, as I said, this is a retro album. But it works. And Prince, that his version from Aladdin is beautiful. He may have done this, in that his last show on Montreax. If I'm not, he may have done this. I can't remember. The last, those last 3 shows in Montreax from 2013. He did 3 shows, and he did a broad swath of his whole catalog, old and new, and this may have been in that. He did a regular concert for Concert 1. He brought in just a wicked, for, that second concert, a wicked horn section, and he went rock and had the guitar for the third night. Yeah, but, I'm not sure. I'll double check that, if he did Got a Broken Heart. So, back from the album days, that song, that side 1. Side 2 is when it gets down, and Prince just lets it all hang out. So, Uptown, is his most, to me, is the most important song on the album, because he kind of plants his flag. This is kind of his statement, his manifesto song. Hey, I'm a rebel. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to shake things up. He probably, when he hits it big, in the middle of the 1999 tour, he moves on from it. But this is his lighthouse, so he doesn't crash, the ship, so to speak. And this is his own guide. This is his navigation system. This is him telling us, but telling himself where he wants to go. In this song, we get the outline of the Indianapolis sound. It's funk disco going on here with Uptown. The rebel Prince is born. when it states anti-racism, it's pro-woman, it's pro-LGBTQ at the time. You know, obviously in the early 2000s, when he's back as a Jehovah's Witness, he sort of turns a little bit and on the LGBTQ community, unfortunately. But there's that back and forth in this song. Are you gay? And he says, no, are you? So even, he clarifies where he stands, but he does it in a way where it still doesn't, piss off or turn people off. And this song also says, do you be different? So I remember when Prince passed, there was just a random Prince fan that said, Prince let me know it was okay to be black and weird. And this is Prince being, is about as weird as you can get, and just saying, do yourself, be yourself. And he's being David Bowie, but for black folks and for, whoever, regardless of the community. That's the message here. Black, white, Puerto Rican, everybody just a freaking. So we got the melting pot, or if you prefer, like I do, the salad going on here. So yeah, this is one of the more important songs of the 80s that Prince releases, but it sets the tone as kind of a, but yeah, so the other interesting thing about side 2 is all the songs are connected. He has a little synth thing, so every song segues into the next song, and so he wants us to view this as a journey. I guess I wouldn't say story because I'm not sure, but it's definitely side 2 is definitely, there's a concept going on here, and it's basically let's push the boundaries and try to break some rules here and let your freak flag fly, so to speak. Yeah, I know Rick James, late in the 80s did have a song called Freak Flag, and I like them both. We know who won the Battle of the Bands eventually, Prince. Song 6, Head. This is the funky joint in the album. It's, Prince brings it, and he ain't holding nothing back. Oral sex, he has a thing for a woman who's about to get married. I mean, he's breaking all the rules up in this bad boy. So what else can be said? This is the Prince classic. I know Dr. Fink, did some work on this album for Prince. So I do think there's Fink there on that wicked, synth solo in the middle of it. Prince could obviously pull that off too, but hey, the band, Prince would pull them in. And I remember, but the first time I saw Prince was on the Love Sexy tour around in New Orleans. And boy, Dr. Fink killed the solo. That's all I got to say. Yeah. So song 6, Head. Song 7, talk about punk. Sister. Song about incest, the ultimate taboo. It's very 1950s rock. It's very rockabilly. And it only clocks in at 1 minute and 32 seconds. So, hey. The Ramones, they were famous for, songs under 2 minutes and 2 minutes and 40 seconds at the most. So yeah, this is definitely Prince doing that punk shit and doing it well. So yeah, song 7. Song 8, Partyup. We know, or do you know the history behind this? Hardcore Prince fans do. So here's the story. Prince and Morris, are in and out of the studio. Morris is working for Prince, going on tours and doing different things. So yeah, he was on there for the Battle of the Bands, touring with Prince for Rick James. And remember now, a lot of people don't know this, but Morris is a very good drummer. He was actually the Times drummer, before what I'm about to, lay out went down. So anyway, so Morris walked in with this song called Partyup, and Prince liked it, and Prince was like, I want the song. And Morris was like, I don't know. And then Prince was like, I tell you what, I'll write two things, your choice. I'll write you a check for $10,000, or I'll give you your own band. And wisely, Morris chose the band. So that's the story. I don't think Morris gets any writing credits, but Morris got a band, and Morris is still, touring with a version of the time and making and stacking cash today. So good job, Morris. Good job, Prince, for giving Morris his break. And hey, so Party Up. Anti-war song, peace going on. Nobody knows what the Morris's title for it was, or if Morris even had lyrics to it. But so dual meaning, peace and partying. This is definitely R&B, with elements of funk to it. So yeah, it's been a minute since we've done a Prince album. Had to do that filthy, nasty, dirty mind. This is the one where Prince got in everybody's radar, the Village Voice, all of the music mags of the day, started propping Prince up. This is where he leads the, sort of the black underground music scene. Because, Soft and Wet got play on black radio, and obviously, I want to be your lover, and why I want to treat you so bad. I don't know, but he was mostly in the black circles, and with this album, that's where he kind of were, the white music critics and folks noticed him in the U.S. and the Village Voice, and he became the toast of Greenwich Village and those areas, so to speak. So he kind of breaks out a little bit on his album and starts foreshadowing and starts, people start pushing him like, yeah, you need to listen to Prince. Prince is the guy. So yeah, I had to do this album. It's been a minute since I've done a Prince album. This is, I forgot to, this has been on both of, Rolling Stone's top 500 albums of all time. Still on there, he only has 4. This is his first one on there. And he still makes both lists. Now, interestingly enough, if you go to Prince's last album, in those last 4 or 5 songs there, he has the song Stare, and he basically, it's like, yeah, I did this album to get attention. Well, it worked, Prince, but it's still a great album, and it's still, yeah, he did it to get attention, but it worked, but it also lays the blueprint for the Minneapolis sound that he started working on, and it lays, really, the rebel and in many ways, but musically comes out. So yes, it's not a hardcore punk album, but it is a punk album, and it is rebellious. And so yeah, he kind of downplays it in the lyrics with Stare, but, hey, the dude wanted to be great. He wanted to conquer the world, and as they say, suck sells. So yeah, let me do this close. Thanks for coming through. Hit that like button. Leave some comments. I got 5 albums of my own. They're attached here to the YouTube channel, but I'm also on all the streaming services. Subscribe to the channel. Let's see what else. I record under the name Exodus. As I said, 5 albums. My first album's called not the 317. That's the second album, 317 Volume 1. The first album is Book 1. Let's see. And I also do science fiction, fantasy, fiction as a writer, and I have 2 novels and a novella on Amazon, and I write under the name Peter Exodus O'Coffer. So appreciate your support. Leave some comments. Let people know, pass it on. Use that share function for your Prince fans, via your phone and texting and whatnot. But hook your boy up. Appreciate it, and I will see you next episode.